Hey, how's it going, guys? How are you? So we're gonna continue with the guide I started yesterday, and I'm gonna release all the 13 parts. And I skipped the first one because I didn't write it the first time I wrote this series on Reddit. It was smaller. I only wrote like six essays, but I've expanded it to 13. So I have to write that first part, which is on mindset. And don't worry about it. It's gonna be released between tomorrow or the day after. So it's gonna happen. That's gonna be the next video. It's on what mindset you should have. But I thought, hey, if I really wanted you guys to have this, so let's just continue. And if you're watching this sequentially, it doesn't really matter because you already have the. You've probably already read the essay or listened to the essay on like mindset, why you need you're enough mindset to succeed at this in this field of pickup. And so the first one is you're enough. The second one is the outfit. By now you should have already bought your black t-shirt, gray jeans, your white sneakers, a watch, and a Cuba link chain. So I'm assuming you did all that. So now today's topic is on approach anxiety. And what many people do is like this is very popular with beginners, and many coaches they're gonna obsess. Like I mentioned in the first video, guys, that people are gonna obsess with self improvement. I wanna obsess with this approach anxiety. I have guys who, like friends of mine or acquaintances, who obsessed with this topic for a year. Nothing came out of it. This is one of those traps where you get a little bit like too obsessed with it, and nothing comes out of it. So notice that change I said, how to overcome approach anxiety on your way to the venue. So I'm rethinking approach anxiety as opposed to just how to overcome approach anxiety completely, which is more of a self-improvement question, like in every situation, in every case. And I've written essays on that. It's called situational confidence and all this, like, it's a whole different kind of worms. I'm talking like how to overcome it for Daygame, for your practical purpose of approaching growth. And there's a strategy to it, and I developed when I was living in the West Coast for a while. Like I think it was like the Christmas season. I would just go out every day, or like every other day. Actually, I went out every day and then just buy some lasagna afterwards. I remember it fondly. And so I just started like figuring out maybe I should do this. I just started like coming up with ideas. So to me, this is one of the easiest parts, honestly, after you've done this for a long, long time. And it's just more of a warm-up. But I know for beginners, it might seem impossible. And then when you're advanced, and where I'm at right now, like upper intermediate, like advanced, around there, like the hardest part is going to be escalated, like advanced escalation in your bedroom. It's going to be equal in difficulty. Where I really like now I feel I've overcame it, but like when I was doing that, like it was really hard to escalate, where I had to like undress, that kind of thing. It just gets really hard. It's equally here, but like that it's gonna make sense once I read it and you guys practice it. So let's go at it. I'm gonna read it. So Daygame complete practical guide, 3 out of 13, top 5 practical ways to overcome approach anxiety on your way to the venue. So introduction, I believe that approach anxiety is real. However, it should not stop you from doing your approaches. While many people fear rejection, their biggest hurdle tends to be their inability to talk to strangers. Hence, after you get on your rockstar outfit, it should give you a small confident boost. This boost can be further increased by following the tips in this guide. So make sure you watch the previous video, guys, because if you don't have the outfit, like maybe it'll be harder for you. Like it all builds up like blocks sequentially. So yeah, that's pretty much, let's go at it. And here I recognize that approach anxiety is real, what you're feeling is real. Mystery gave a reason for this, and a lot of guys, so he just said that in tribal times, if you approach and you get rejected, you'll be ostracized from your tribe. But now we live in big cities, so it doesn't really matter. And I agree with him to an extent, and I think it's a valid point. but at the same time, I feel like you shouldn't obsess over this, like this approach anxiety. You should just deal with it like a practical thing, like before you do sports, you just warm up and then you forget about it. So let's go. Listen to exciting music on the way to the venue. On the way to the park, I used to listen to the band Slide Bells. They're a noise pop band from Brooklyn. Oh, sorry about that. They tend to sing mostly songs with titles like Infinity Guitar or Crown on the Ground. My favorite lyric is, "Did you do your best today?" Their songs put me in a good mood as well as motivate me to try my best. This is a band. It's very popular, or used to be back in the day, in the early 2010s. Slide Bells. They have like this cover with cheerleaders. Like one of their EPs, I think, is one of their. They might have released only like two or three albums, and it was like huge. And they're very like bombastic. They sing all this like very loud songs, like "Did you do your best today?" Like where, crown on the ground. So it's also because they repeat a lot of phrases that it'll get you into the mood to approach, like "crown on the ground, crown on the ground." Like they'll start saying it like a lot, and then it'll pump you up. It's like, yeah, let's do this. Like it's that type of music. So you really do your best today. It's really, really good stuff. Like I would go to the song right now and break it down, but I think it's besides the point. The thing is, like, listen to, like, if you don't like this band, try to find something like techno or electronic music. Even I think Daft Punk, that's like a good band that puts you in a mood. Like just get excited, like get like, even you can like hop or like do small jumps as well. Like it doesn't really matter. Like nobody cares. But don't do it in front of people. Do it before you like get on the cab or taxi. Talk to your Uber driver. So I'm assuming, okay, you wake up, you put on the music, you're excited, you do a few jumps like outside of your house or your apartment or whatever, like, and then you get on the taxi. Talk to your Uber driver. One of the best ways to loosen up is to talk to your Uber driver on the way to the venue. I'm going to assume you're on the way to a park. You can start talking to your driver. Most drivers seem to be friendly and want to get to know their passengers. One time I left my comedy class in LA and got into an Uber. On my Uber, my driver started tell me like crazy stories about driving attractive women in his car to exclusive Hollywood parties. Hearing stories about other people make you see the grand scope as opposed to thinking you are alone in this journey. You can see the interconnections of the city. Actually, this is like a very beautiful paragraph. I completely forgot I wrote this. That's why like this insight, like that's why writing is so important and you're able to preserve like a lot of stuff. Like I didn't even remember this, but like yeah, I was in LA. I got into a car with like a Uber guy, like Uber driver. He started telling me about all these like Hollywood parties and like he probably hooked up with some girls. This now I think is true. It can be possible, or like the prudes will say, "Oh, this doesn't happen," but like it probably like some girl is like, "Yeah, let's go back to my place and stuff." Like he was saying like the city's interconnected, girls are excited, they want a party, like you have to go at it through this mindset. So he really put me in the mindset like, yeah, like girls wanna hook up. And Tyler from RSD, like this is like my favorite, one of my favorite quotes is like, "Oh, little Jenny's getting like, I don't know, fucked, I guess, because like whatever. I mean, I don't want to curse, but like she's hooking up with random guys, like this is like the world I inhabit." And I can tell the haters are probably gonna slice this part and say like, "Oh, you see, like this is how he thinks." But like in my mind, I'm like excited listening to Slide Bells and this guy saying like, "Oh yeah, like the girls all wanna hook up, like they're doing all this crazy stuff." So that's the world. That's how I see the world pick up. Like many guys won't see it that way, but like I hang out with this crowd and they are seeing it as well. So go to a coffee shop and talk with baristas. Actually, it's Starbucks. So many beer gurus miss out in its practical tip that people with years of experience have. For example, when I used to go to Madison Square Park, I would stop at the nearby Starbucks and hang out there for a while. Some service workers are excellent people to talk to. Many are friendly and want to get to know their clients, especially if you give them tips. Moreover, some might be attractive women themselves, so it's a win-win. You get to practice well, you get a good tea or croissant. So what happens is like, you can go to Starbucks, like say you're going to a park, maybe to this park or somewhere in LA or wherever you go to the Starbucks, you start talking to the girls there, and since you're tipping them, like, "Oh, it was using money," like the haters, obviously, but like they'll talk to you, they'll hang out, like it doesn't matter, "Oh, it's not real," or it's real, whatever. Like they'll put you in a social mood, and you're like, oh well, if I can talk to this attractive girl, why can't I talk to these other attractive girls? You know, so they're gonna put you in the good mood, you know, and that's what I do. Even before I'm going to the field, like I would go, like, say, like, listen to music at 8, then get breakfast, then do this at 9 or 10, and then go to okay, I'll say where I used to go, like sometimes in like Colorado or stuff like that, you know, like I would just do that, and I would just get into this social mood, and you know, and it's all very exciting stuff. But like, so yeah, like I would just talk to the Starbucks girls, and like it just puts me in a better mood. As to directions to random people, so this is like a cheat code. If there was like a cheat code, it's this one. Like, and no one ever talks about it, because like they all wanna like say, oh, are you a man or you're not? You know, are you gonna, like, they're gonna throw you into the pool. You know, like, are you a man or not? And, you know, instead of that, like, this is the rule, is another trick of the trade. After you start going out, you learn to chat up with strangers. One of the great insights I had was when I noticed the locals were friendly to our tourists who were asking for directions. Hence, I started asking random people for directions and talking more and more people. The whole endeavor is like a warm-up before I started to talk to attractive women. So this is actually a cheat that not many people talk about. Like, you can actually just ask people for directions and just do it 5-6 times. Like, most people, because they want to be friendly to like tourists or visitors, they're always gonna like be nice to you when you ask them for directions. If you ask them random questions, they'll be creeped out, you know. However, there's a social context as to why asking for directions is normal, so they're just gonna be nice to you. So guys, I gotta hurry because like I see that like the time is short. So ask for directions to attractive women. And this is the other cheat code. If people are like, oh hey man, what's a practical cheat that I can do to like succeed? So ask directions to attractive women. Once you get used to talking to random strangers, why don't you just ask directions to attractive women? The women that will be friendly to you because of common courtesy. And this is a concept that is never talked about, and I think I'm the only person like who's brought up, is the idea of common courtesy. I think only Luke from RSD mentioned it briefly, like reciprocity, where like people are gonna have to be nice to you. But I didn't know all this concept before. I noticed that most people will be friendly to you since it makes their city looks good. It would be strange for them to be outright rude. Most importantly, you get desensitized to talking to attractive women. Unless you talk to an attractive woman, you will be ready. Like, unless you do this on France and you don't speak, like in Paris and you don't speak French, which I recommend you guys to learn. Like, most people are gonna be nice to you and talk to you in English. And in any city, like, most people are just gonna be like, oh yeah, but I have to be nice to you. And if you speak French in France, like, they'll be nice to you as well, by the way, in Paris. But like, the idea is that common courtesy, you know, they're always gonna try to help you. Oh, like, you need this. Okay, this is how I do it. So that what I would do is listen to that music, get on the Uber, then talk to the people in the Starbucks, then go out. And people are like, well, man, this is so complex. Like, why can't you just go and approach? You know, that's why, because like, it's not just a one-time thing where I just like arm up myself in courage and did it. It's more like a lifestyle that I've crafted, and I was able to like, hey, I'm always doing all this stuff, you know, like, that's why I feel more social, you know, like, so it's more like, it's a difference between a guy who just like becomes courageous to do one approach and it's super hard, to a guy who's just being social the whole day and then shows up and tries to do this, you know. So like 100% like ask directions to a lot of people. Then when you're feeling good about it, ask directions to attractive women. And then there's like another cheat code stuff that I do, and I'll share with you guys, since like, okay, you're my audience, you're my fans. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because I'm sharing this. But like, there are times where I don't even open cold approach because that's like a PUA thing. I'll just warm approach. Like, I was at that park one time. Let's just say like Las Vegas, because I was there. So I went to Las Vegas. Like, I talked to a random girl, asked her for directions, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm from Germany," and I was like, "Oh, cool." And I just kept talking to her. You know, I was like, "Oh, that's a warm up step." I just kept talking. It's like, "Oh, really? Like, that's cool. Like, we're in Germany, Hamburg or something like that." And then we started talking, and then I just invited her to hang out to another venue. You know, like I didn't like. And that's why like PUAs, because these guys, they're obsessed with their like way of doing things. So they're not very practical people. Like, they're like, oh yeah, but you're supposed to say like, oh, you're cute, you're supposed to say all this stuff. But then if you do that, she'll be freaked out, you know. So like, there's other ways of doing it, and this is one of the ways, like that common courtesy strategy. So anyway, guys, so I almost never call a person in Daygame at random. I always do that tricks of the trade. The whole ordeal might take 25 to 1 hour, depending on how I'm feeling. Once you are comfortable with doing these rituals, you'll experience less and less approach anxiety. So guys, that time's running out. However, you now have like a clear idea of what's going on. Make sure like you integrate this to your life. And alright, see you in the next video, guys.